All right, let's jump right in. So, what if the smartest person you ever met, the wisest person you ever encountered, wasn't some university professor, but someone who never even made it past elementary school? Today, we're going to explore some incredibly powerful lessons from a man that Dr. Rick Rigsby calls the wisest person he ever knew. This one quote right here, it's really the heart of the whole thing. It's a total paradox, isn't it? The words wisest person and third grade dropout in the same sentence. It just doesn't seem to fit, but that's where the story gets really, really good. And that really gets you thinking, right? Like, what's the actual difference between knowledge and wisdom? I mean, we spend so much of our lives chasing degrees and titles, but are we actually chasing the right thing? Just look at this contrast. On one side, you've got Dr. Rigsby himself, a man with a PhD, an award-winning professor, and author. He is the picture of academic success. And then on the other side of the coin, the guy he calls wise, someone who had to leave school in the third grade to go work on the family farm, a simple cook, a father. And here it is, that wise man, that third grade dropout, was his own dad. And in this really beautiful twist of fate, his dad worked as a cook for almost 30 years at the California Maritime Academy, the exact place where Dr. Rigsby gave the speech that inspired all of this. It was his father's workplace and his own childhood backyard. You know, Dr. Rigsby often uses this Mark Twain quote, and it just hits the nail on the head. His father may have left school, but his education, man, that never, ever stopped. He taught himself how to read and write. But more than that, he learned how to live. He just got it, that a real education happens every single day, way outside of any classroom. So what did that education actually look like? Well, it wasn't about complicated theories or anything from a textbook. It was about simple, powerful, and profound rules for how to live your life. And these were rules he passed down to his kids, not just by telling them, but by showing them. Okay, so here they are. These are his core principles. They seem so straightforward, right? But believe me, there is a universe of wisdom packed into every single one. Being on time, for example, that wasn't just about punctuality. It was a daily lesson in excellence. Let's just take that first lesson. His dad had a 5 a.m. shift that was only a 15-minute drive away, but for 30 years, he left the house at 3:45 in the morning. Why would he do that? His reason was simple. Maybe one of my boys will catch me in the act of excellence. He wasn't just telling them what to do, he was modeling it, knowing that's the most powerful way to teach anything. It's like what Aristotle said, right? Excellence is a habit, not an act. And this man, he lived it. And then there's this lesson on humility. His father had this absolutely killer definition for ego. It's a warning, really. The moment you think everything is about you, that's the moment you stop learning, you stop growing, and you stop seeing things for what they are. Pride, as he taught, is the burden of a foolish person. And this all builds up to this final, crucial point about doing things right. This wasn't just about having a good work ethic, it was a philosophy for your entire life. It's about this relentless chase to be the best version of yourself. The whole idea is you don't aim low and hit. You aim high, and you keep aiming high, even if you miss. Okay, so these lessons are incredible on their own. But, true wisdom, that's often forged in fire, in the absolute toughest moments of our lives. Dr. Rigsby learned what might be the most important lesson of all when he hit his rock bottom. I mean, it's an idea that we're all kind of scared of, right? Hitting rock bottom. But there's a deep truth in it. Failure isn't the end. The person who gets back up off the canvas, that's the one who keeps growing. And for Dr. Rigsby, this wasn't just some theory. It became devastatingly real. He met the love of his life, his wife Trina, back in college. They built this beautiful life together, had 2 sons, and then came the gut-wrenching news, a breast cancer diagnosis. After a 6-year battle, he found himself having to prepare to say his final goodbye. He talks about this moment as his rock bottom. Standing there at his wife's casket with his 2 little boys by his side, and he says his heart had literally stopped beating. He was totally and completely lost with absolutely no idea how he was going to go on. And it was right there, in that moment of just absolute despair, that his father, the third grade dropout, leaned over and gave him his final and most profound lesson. Just 3 simple words. Son, just stand. That was it. No matter how rough the sea gets, no matter how hard life hits you, you just keep standing. You don't give up. Wow. I mean, just that one lesson, to stand, to endure, to just keep going, it changes everything, doesn't it? It turned his grief into a foundation to build a new life on, and it brings all of his father's wisdom into sharp focus, leaving a question for every single one of us. And it echoes something incredible his wife, Trina, said just 2 days before she passed away. This piece of wisdom right here. It just captures that huge shift in perspective that happens when you face your own mortality. It's not about how many days we get, it's about the quality and the impact we make in the days we have. So how do we actually do that? How do we live a life that matters? Well, we can go right back to the cook's simple rules. Show up early, be kind, do things the right way, and always remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. That is the legacy of that third-grade dropout. So in the end, the wisdom from the simple cook leaves all of us with this. We're all going to make an impact, one way or another, for better or for worse. The real question is the one his dad asked him his whole life, and it's the one we should be asking ourselves every single day. How are you living?